I only care because I have the Broncos defense in my daily fantasy lineup.
Yeah, I respect that, but like, oh my god, that game. They're doing the division stuff, and I respect it, but that game should have been strucken from the record. They should have just been like, oh, we forgot about Washington and Denver.
Yeah.
Just spare us. What a gross matchup that is. And they put it at 4. It's at 425, which means we're actually gonna have to watch some of it. It's gonna be disgusting.
I know. Well, I like how we started the live with just us complaining about
Oh
the
yeah,
Broncos and this game
this
out
one,
of
this
context.
show is just gonna be a bunch of complaints about how we hate the Broncos Commanders game.
Yeah, they don't even know. They didn't even know what game we were talking about at first, but could probably figure it out with like a little bit of context. Oh, it's a
With how much
425
we
shade.
hate them, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Well,
It's
anyway,
a great
folks,
start.
welcome. Yeah, it's great start. We're cooking with gas now. Welcome to another episode of Blue Collar Game Day with introducing my official co-host of the show, Source Schiller, as his
Thank you very much.
little down here says. What's up, buddy? Thanks for taking the job as my co-host.
Not much. I'm having a slower morning than usual, and just getting right to it. Football's starting, and thank you very much for offering me the co-host position. I'm absolutely thrilled to be on this journey for the next. I guess we got 17 weeks left now instead of 16, so
got
an extra week in there, and
we'll
we're
see
gonna make the most of it. Let's make the people some money, and let's make ourselves a little bit as well. That'd be nice.
That sounds like a good idea to me.
That's a great plan, in my opinion. I don't like to tap myself on the back very much, but I think that's a very solid idea.
It's one of the best ideas I think you've ever had.
I appreciate that. I thought long and hard about that.
But anyway, folks, we're gonna skip the bullshit of recapping and
Thursday night recap. The Eagles are good and the Vikings suck. Move on.
Yep. Hold on, my screen turned off.
Oh no. Yeah, you're frozen. You got a beautiful shot of upward shot of your face right there.
Hold on. And here I am.
There we go. Technical
Gotta love the show starting right early. Yeah. So we're just gonna go right into game picks, like I said, and hopefully my screen doesn't turn off on me again.
That'd be very nice. I appreciate
it. Yeah. First game up, kind of an easy one to pick. We got the Bills and the Raiders. Bills are favored by 7.5 here.
Yep.
I'll take the Bills to win this game. They're probably going to cover 7.5. Not a big fan of the Raiders defense. Really not a huge fan of that team this year at all. You never.
I took their under in win total. I have under 4.5 wins. The week 1 win was very annoying to me. But yeah, I'm also on the Bills. I think that's without going too much into it, since we are both aligned on it. The Bills are, first of all, coming off the week 1 loss. They're now at home. The Raiders coming off what I feel like was kind of a cupcake week 1 against Russell Wilson in his first week in a new offense, and the Broncos kind of figuring everything out. But now we have a team, 1-0 team, going into an 0-1 team spot in their house, which is a tough place to play. Bills Mafia is a tough group to play in front of. And secondary for the Raiders is not great, particularly at defending the deep ball. Russell Wilson and Sean Payton ran a West Coast style offense in that game. They did not really try to push it down the field. The Bills push the ball down the field, and they throw it down there a lot, even when they're not really when it's not really a good idea, as Josh Allen showed last week when he threw it down the field 3 times to Mr. Jordan Whitehead. So I think that those downfield throws are going to go a lot better this week, and I think that they kind of blow them out of the water, similar to the way that they did to the Steelers last year when it was 37-3 and it was like 21-0 in the first quarter. Because I think the Raiders have this kind of false sense of confidence maybe going into this game. I do worry about the Bills' run defense, and that's why I only have a half unit on this. Because the Bills' run defense looked bad last week, and Josh Jacobs is a great running back, and they do have a good running game. But I don't see the Raiders competing in this one. Even if the Raiders work their way down the field and score a couple times, I can see the Bills coming right back down with like 70-yard pass and just wiping out the score, which is just moralizing.
I can see the Raiders competing early. Like maybe match them the first couple of drives. But like you said, the Bills are going to keep going up and down the field on them. And just like eventually, it's just going to be too much and they're not going to be able to keep up.
Yeah.
I could see them competing for like the first half, maybe. But yeah.
Yeah, like the first 15 plays game plan might be solid. Like I'm not taking that away. Like McDaniel can do that. But once you get out of that, I really don't see how they have any advantage in this game besides maybe like if you want to say Devontae is better than Diggs at wide receiver 1, okay. But like that's how big of a difference we talking here.
So the next game, again, probably a pretty easy one to pick. This will probably be a more competitive game though. Definitely be a more competitive game. You got the Chiefs and the Jaguars. Chiefs are favored by 3.5 here. I'm usually taking the Chiefs to win this game. They will probably cover 3.5. I think they probably win this game by a touchdown. I do think this one's close because it's a divisional game.
Chiefs Jaguars, not a divisional game.
Yeah, Chiefs Jaguars.
That's not divisional. AFC West for South.
Oh, AFC, okay, now divisional. Whatever. They always play each other tight. This is good. Some good weed I got here, man.
There you go. I was about to say, what you got there?
This is called The Truth.
See, he's smoking on the truth, and we're giving you the truth.
Yep, it's actually funny.
Nothing but the
truth.
It's
actually funny, especially given what you just said. This was called The Truth, but the girl at the dispensary said it's a lie because the lineage of this particular weed is actually not the truth strain.
Wow.
So
that's a mind bender right there.
I'm smoking a lie. And I told a lie on screen. So I guess it's actually all kind of making sense now.
It's a nice it comes around. It works. Full circle.
Yeah. That was fun.
But anyway. This game has I know there's no such thing as a trap line. It's only the market setting itself the way it sets itself and adjusting the way it wants to adjust. But, man, I'm not touching this game. It's a game I'm going to love watching. I might make a live bet on it if I see a valuable spot. But I just don't like this, like, at all. Like, the Jaguars –
I don't like that 3.5. I didn't play the 3.5. I played the money line.
Yeah, the Jaguars in that last game against the Chiefs, against the Colts, should have won. There's a 14-point swing when there was that fumble return for a touchdown. Realistically, they should have won that game by 20+. I think that kind of factors in here. The only thing I was worried about for the Jaguars was their center and guard, Fortner and Scherf, were both questionable. They're both playing, so that wipes out that concern for me. I think Christian Kirk has a big day. They've indicated they want to go to him a lot. And last year against the Chiefs, he had 9 receptions for 105 yards and 2 touchdowns. I think it's a big day from Christian Kirk incoming. I'm actually going to find a way to get him into my DraftKings lineup right now. And I just don't necessarily know if I believe that Chris Jones and Travis Kelce are going to fully incorporate. I know I said last week that I thought Chris Jones was going to be able to slide right in, and he probably will be able to. This is a tough offensive line to slide. slide up into. The Lions were like a mid-ranked 15th, 17th ranked offensive line in terms of pass blocking last year. Jaguars were like 5th. It's a tough group to go up against in your first game back. Yep. Travis Kelce, I obviously think is going to do his damage, but there's so much in this game that makes me want to play the Chiefs that I don't want to play them at all, if that makes sense. Because why is it 3.5? They've won 8 straight road games coming off a loss. They're 6-2 against the spread in those games. The average line in those games is -5.5. I'm only minus 3.5 here. The Jags run.
You're right. They're setting off at 3.5. That's why like I said, I played the money line in this game. I feel confident the Chiefs will beat that 3.5, but that line is too low for me to actually play
and the other thing that throws me off is that the Chiefs last week, the Chiefs played the Lions, play a much different style of defense. Than the Jaguars do. The Jaguars played the Colts, who play a single high set, much different than the man blitz scheme the Chiefs run. I just don't know what's going to happen. For the sake of being contrarian here, I'll take the Jaguars.
I like the contrarian. We got the Chargers and the Titans, with the Chargers favored by 2.5 here. I think the Chargers win and cover 2.5. We talked last week. I don't think the Titans are a very good team. I do think the Chargers showed us some weaknesses last week. Is they definitely should have won that game, and they made some, as he does every year. Brandon Staley made some questionable decisions.
Brandon Staley we're talking about here. We got
questionable play calls on this offense at the end here, and it just at the end they just seem like a poorly coached football team. I'm sorry. I'm going to rip on Brandon.
Then you're going to take the Chargers.
I don't think Brandon Staley's a good head coach. I think that is a very talented team. That is a poorly coached team.
Yeah, I agree. But unlike you, I'm going to say that, and then I'm going to take the opponent. I really like the Titans in this game. I have, I believe, 2 units on the spread and 1 on the money line. So Joey Bosa is playing, which is not what I didn't believe that he was going to. So shout out to him for toughing through a hamstring injury that he was not able to practice through all week. But one thing I will say is since 2021, the Titans are 3-0 straight up as home dogs of 4 points or less. When they're home dogs of 7 or less since 2021, they're 4-0. The Chargers are going to run the same scheme they ran last year. Tannehill, it's a lot of man defense. It was the most man defense in the league. Tannehill was actually 3rd in completion percentage in the league versus man coverage, besides backup quarterbacks who didn't have enough qualified snaps. He was 9th in passer rating versus man. And the big part of this for me is the running game. The Chargers were terrible against the run last year and did nothing over the offseason to change that. Derrick Henry, last week, if you remember, I talked about how Derrick Henry is bad in week 1s in his career as one of the reasons I like the Saints. In week 2s, in his last 4 week 2s, he scored 5 touchdowns. In his career in week 2, he's averaged 4.3 yards a carry, and he's run for over 100 yards in 3 of his last 5 home games of the season from last year. In his career versus the Chargers, Derrick Henry averages 4.1 yards a carry and has scored 3 touchdowns in 3 games, averaging 15 yards per reception. The Chargers are bad up the middle, specifically where Derrick Henry loves to do his damage. I think the Chargers just get controlled and manhandled on the run game. And the Chargers ran for 234 yards last game. They don't run like that. They've only run for over 200 yards 9 times since 2008, and I think it's giving Vegas some false hope in the way that Kellen Moore is going to run this offense. I think they think that the run game is going to be more prevalent in this year's iteration of the team. I just don't think they have changed enough. And now you add to it that Austin Eckler's out, and I feel really good about this line, especially since Justin Herbert was 24th of all starting QBs in passer rating versus zone, which the Titans run a ton of. And his touchdown percentage drops off for zone. Keenan Allen's passer rating throwing to him goes down against zone, and same with Mike Williams. I just think that this all plays into Tennessee's favor, and they're at home, and they're coming off a 1-point loss. I have the Titans +3 for 2 units. I have the Titans +130 for 1 unit. I have Derrick Henry anytime touchdown scorer for 0.75 units, and I'm really thinking of placing Derrick Henry 2 or more touchdowns at plus, I believe, 300 to 400.
I'm telling you that when we finish the show, after you just fucking did all that, I'm probably placing a bet on the Titans.
I got 2 more games that I'm going to be that pervasive on. Not pervasive, prevalent. Jesus. What a terrible word.
The next game, I'm having a tough time calling.
Prevalent is the word. Jesus. I can't
Yeah, it's all right. We can fuck around with words. So the next game, Ravens and Bengals. I'm having a tough time with this one.
Then allow me to take the lead.
My logic tells me Bengals, but my gut is telling me to bet the Ravens, and I don't bet against my gut.
All right.
Is that you got the Bengals?
I got the Bengals. I got the Bengals for a grand old 3 units. Is the biggest.
Okay, so
it's the biggest.
I did not play the Ravens to win. I'll be honest with that. I took them for the sake of my gut said something. I do have the over in this game, and I love the over of 45.5.
I couldn't love the Bengals more in this game, honestly, and I really am thinking about moving it up to 4 units. I just don't want to have too much exposure on one game. So first of all, the line, tracking line movement, something that a lot of people really don't know enough about. But reverse line movement is very interesting on this game. There's a lot of tickets, a lot of money coming in on the Ravens. The line opened at 3.5, and it stayed at 3.5. Actually, it opened at 3, and then it moved to 3.5 to give people more reason to bet on the Ravens. Whenever a line moves over that number, as I said last week, it's really important to take note of it. A key number like 3 or 7. So first of all, the Bengals have won 3 of the last 4 they've played against the Ravens. All 3 wins coming by double digits. The 1 loss coming by 2 points on a Justin Tucker game-winning field goal. Burrow has a 101 passer rating with a 3-to-1 touchdown interception ratio versus the Ravens in his 5 games. In Lamar Jackson's career versus the Bengals, he has had a completion percentage under 60% 4 straight games. He's thrown a pick in 3 of the 4 games. They are not a good matchup for Lou Anarumo, the defensive coordinator. Lou Anarumo is not a good matchup for them, the defensive coordinator for the Bengals. He's had their number. The Bengals were the 6th-ranked pass defense in the league last year, and they returned most of that unit. The entire starting unit is pretty healthy. And then you look at the Ravens unit. Marlon Humphrey's not going to play. J.K. Dobbins is done. Marcus Williams, the safety's out. Ronnie Stanley, the tackle's out. And Tyler Linderbaum, the center, is out. So you have a running game, a team that relies on the running game that's missing 2 offensive line starters and the running back. A passing game that's still missing the offensive lineman, since that's prevalent. Mark Andrews is playing injured on that quadricep. He's playing, but he's not 100%. And then on the other side, you have a fully healthy Bengals team at home, coming off a loss against a pass defense that is frankly injured and not good. I don't really – and the Ravens game was like the Ravens played the Texans and were not overly impressive. Like, by the way, I just want to shout myself out real quick. I called that game to end like 24 to 10. I think it ended 25-9. Shout out me. That was cool. But just the other thing I want to say here is the backup linemen for Tyler Linderbaum and Ronnie Stanley, both of their backups. It's one guy, Patrick McCarry. They're both not playing. There's got to be shuffling around the unit. People are going to be playing. They are not used to playing Ben Cleveland is probably going to have to slide into a spot. And the Bengals were already 8th in pressure percentage last year, despite not being in the top 15 of blitz percentage. And Lamar Jackson was 20th in completion percentage against pressure. That means that he's going to be pressured with people dropping back in coverage. I could go more into it, but the Bengals have the health advantage, home field advantage, quarterback advantage, the advantage in the trenches, and all 3 levels of the defense. I love the Bengals here.
All right. Like I said, I just had the gut feeling. Sometimes I roll with the gut.
I respect that.
We got the Seahawks and the Lions next, and this is another one. Kind of went back and forth on here.
Same. I've had sleepless nights over this game.
I think these teams are very are equal in terms of talent. Almost, there's not a huge talent disparity. I don't think between these two teams. I'm taking the Seahawks here. One, the Seahawks are coming off a loss, and the Seahawks have high hopes this year. I think they kind of bounce back a little bit. And the Lions, well, they're the Lions.
It's a good one.
They're coming off. They're coming off their big win. They're upset. I think they do like letdown time. Lions let basically is. That's basically where and the Lions are favored in this. It's plus 170 for the Seahawks to win.
That line is.
I just feel like the Lions are due for a letdown, and the Seahawks are due to bounce back. That's really I know that's not really groundbreaking analysis, but that's what I got.
I went back and forth in this game a lot. I ended up taking the over 47 because the last 2 times these teams have played, both offenses have had the defense's number. There's injuries in both secondaries. Jamal Adams out for the Seahawks.
I do like that. I was just eyeing that as you said that. I like that
out for the Lions. Both tackles are out for the Seahawks. But this is a Seahawks team that put up 48 on the Lions last year and 51 on them the year before. The same coordinators are returning. Geno Smith is returning. The same receivers are returning. This is going to be a similar style offense to the way it was in previous years. I don't necessarily I wanted to take the Seahawks really badly, but the fact that both starting tackles are out and it's the home opener for the Lions with 10 days of rest rather than 7. The entire crowd's going to be wearing ski masks. The energy is going to be there. I believe in the Seahawks to win this game. I would have preferred – I was waiting all week for a plus 200. I didn't really see it. If it was there, I missed it. So I'm just playing the over. But if I had to take a team to win this game, let's go Seahawks.
But I just had to refresh my page. The line just jumped.
What is it?
Plus 180.
Plus 180?
Yeah, it was just plus 170, and it literally in a matter of a minute, it just jumped to plus 180.
And by the way, if the Lions win, I won't be upset. I have Amon-Ra St. Brown in one league, in one league, and then the other league I have St. Brown and Jahmyr Gibbs. So fire away, score a lot of points. I just don't have a play on. I think I was looking. When I looked at that line, I was expecting the Lions to open up at 2.5 as favorites, and I was like, I might be able to do that, but 5.5 is too much for me.
I got 4.5 for the Lions on DraftKings.
I still can't do it over a field goal. I really can't.
Yeah. So next game, we got Packers and Falcons. This one, I got nothing on for you. I got.
Well, baby, do I have something for you? What?
Is this Lambeau? Is this at Lambeau?
No.
The game?
No, it's in Atlanta.
I'll take the Falcons.
All right, I'm glad you said that.
I don't know. Packers.
So I have I think a unit and a half on the Falcons. Yeah. I got them at +1. They are now -3. I get that little CLV trophy for myself. I took this on the 13th, I want to say. It says it on my spreadsheet that I posted on Twitter. But I love the Falcons in this game. First of all, there are a ton of injuries on the Packers side of the ball. Elgin Jenkins, questionable. I don't know if he's playing or not. I think he might be. Quay Walker with a concussion. Aaron Jones not playing. Christian Watson not playing. I think that, excuse me, this is like not a game that I'm looking too much at the quarterbacks for. This is a running game. Both teams love to run the ball. Here's the difference. The Packers can't stop the run. And even though the Falcons are not as good at stopping the run as some other teams, they're better than the Packers are. The Packers were literally the worst run defense in the league last year on first and second down. The Falcons love to run the ball in early downs. Also, even if the Packers stack the box, Tyler Algier is actually, or Algier, sorry, I want to pronounce that right, was he led the league in yards per attempt versus stacked boxes. 5.23 yards per attempt versus stacked box. If they try to crowd the box to stop the run, it doesn't matter. They're still going to run the ball. The Packers last year against a top 5 run offense, they allowed 40 points to the Eagles. Jalen Hurts ran for 157 yards by himself. The Eagles ran for 363. When they played against great running backs, Derrick Henry had 87 yards and a touchdown. They allowed 115 yards and a touchdown of 5.2 yards per carry to Tony Pollard, 155-yard rushing yards to the Bears in one of their matchups. I really just think that this ball gets run down their throat for the entire game in Atlanta. I think Jordan Love's first road game in a dome might be a little different than his first road game in a stadium that his team's had a lot of success in. The run defenders that Green Bay has are still poor. They haven't gotten better since last year, and they didn't add anybody new. Atlanta at least added David Onyemata from the Saints and Calais Campbell, who's actually a really good run defender. Their other guy on the edge, Arnold Abidike, is actually pretty good at stopping the run. So I think, and it's funny, I'm reading my write-up now, and I said this isn't going to be a very sharp play in terms of line movement, as it seems odds makers are comfortable with it being where it is. Apparently, they weren't, because they moved to 3 points after that. But I really don't think that the Falcons are going to be able to keep up in this. Sorry, the Packers are going to be able to keep up in this game. And the reason I took +1 instead of +105 on the money line, just because I got minus 105 at +1 instead of -110. So instead of paying, books usually make you pay 10 cents for a half point. And in that instance, I was paying 10 cents for a full point. So I just decided to do that for the math reasons there. But I have Falcons +1 for a unit and a half. And then I have Mr. Tyler Algier, anytime touchdown +210. I believe it's down to +170 now, something +180. I don't know how I would do that, but I do think he scores at least once. Nice. Oh, and Aaron Jones being out, I forgot to mention on the other side, really cripples that run game.
Yes, that's terrible for the Packers.
Yeah, and now the Falcons are -3 because of that. That really shifted the line after that.
So I get the next game up here is the Bucs and the Bears. The Bucs are favored by 2.5 here. I played the Bucs -2.5 in this game. I'm not a fan of the Bears' offensive line at all. I'm a big fan of the Bucs linebackers. I do not like the matchup of Justin Fields and that offensive line against the Bucs linebackers. I thought the Bucs played a decent game of football last week. Thought Baker Mayfield looked all right. I think he's still trying to prove something, playing with a little chip on his shoulder. And to be honest, I was big on Justin Fields coming out of college. I am not big on Justin Fields playing in Chicago.
Interesting.
Except as a runner. He can run the ball great, but to me, Chicago is where good quarterbacks go to die. So, like, I'm sorry, Chicago's just not good with quarterbacks.
That's
Never
fair.
have been. It's just a thing. I'm sorry. I'm
I
sorry for any potential Chicago Bears fans listening. A harsh reality.
I have at
Even
least one friend.
your best quarterback ever, Jim McMahon, was not
He
that
was
good of a
not good,
quarterback.
but the defense
You
was, and it's not this
I'd
year.
like, yeah, and that's. I also hate the Bears defense.
Yeah.
You got anything contrarian to that? You got the Bucks.
I didn't play anything on this game, but I like your reasoning, and I'm considering playing the Bucks. I was really hoping the Bears would score first, so I could get a live line of the Bucks because I don't like how they went from -3 down to -2.5 at home. It kind of hits me the wrong way.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't love this one.
But I also agree with all your reasoning. I think the running game of Fields can be neutralized by Devin White.
Exactly.
Just,
That's if they take away what Justin Fields is good at, then with that,
he
like
can
Ben said,
let
that
loose
is
on the ball downfield.
not a great offensive line, and those Devin White and was it Levante David? They're just too.
Levante David, yeah.
I like those two linebackers against a bad offensive line too much to think that Justin Fields' running ability can make a real huge impact in this. And maybe it does because he's elusive. He can get away from stuff. But like I don't think his designed runs will work well this week. I think.
Well, they didn't even
maybe
design that many runs for him last week, which is what was so peculiar to me.
So the next game we got the Colts and the Texans.
Boo! This is another boo game of the week.
Yeah, do we have to bet on this? Do we have to make a pick on this? Because I really can't.
Give me
bet
the
on
Texans.
It.
I like CJ Stroud, and Lovie Smith has a great defense.
All right. Well, I'll take the Colts because Anthony Richardson looked all right in the first game.
There we go. One of us can be right.
Moving right along here. Now we've got Sam's game of the week. We got the Giants and the Cardinals here. I took the Giants. This is now -218. I got it at -200.
There you go.
I parlayed in with a few things, so the -200 isn't really a big deal to me.
Yeah,
I like the Giants here. I think they got to bounce back, and like I said last week, I do not like anything about the Cardinals. I continue to not like things about the Cardinals.
I respect that.
I think, yeah.
So
yeah, that
I got the Giants. Surprise, surprise. I am the one thing I'm worried about. One thing, and that is Jonathan Gannon, the head coach, was the Eagles' defensive coordinator last year. He knows us. He knows what we like to do. With that being said, his defense is about 40 times worse. I think the Giants. I just refuse to believe that Dable's not going to have them ready to go this time. This is a must-win game for the New York Giants, and I don't say that in like a haha, they lost the big week one, so they have to win week. No, it's must-win because on next Thursday, we're in San Francisco. Week after that, Miami. We lose this game against the Cardinals, it's 0-4.
It's a big culture thing. Big culture setter. You started to turn the culture around last year. You can't start the season that way. And that's actually a big part of the reason that I took.
Like you have to come in and blow this team out of the water.
And I think I loved your coach hiring Brian Dable.
I love him so much. I don't care.
He's making the Giants to root for. Because I think Dable's a good coach. I think Dable was part of the reason that Josh Allen turned his career around so much.
I agree, and I think he's part of the reason why Josh Allen is kind of struggling right now.
I was just going to say, I think we're starting to see that the Bills are missing Brian Dable.
I think we saw it last year, honestly.
Yes, we did, but it's starting to be more like prevalent. Now people are really starting to take notice. So next game we got the Niners minus 7.5 against the Rams.
Man.
The Niners are going to win. I'm going to take the Niners to win this game. The Rams looked better than I thought they would last week, but I still don't love the Rams this year at all. And the Niners are just a loaded fucking team. I don't know about the spread, but I'll take the Niners to win the game.
Yeah. Me personally, I'm fading this game. I do think the Niners should win and cover the spread, but I hate the road divisional aspect of it. Also, I think this game's probably going to go under the total, and I don't like taking teams over a touchdown as favorites, and then and I'm not taking the under necessarily, but it's what I lean towards, and in that situation, I don't know. I just feel like
the spread's a little high because I do feel like the Rams could be competitive in this game. I think the Niners win, but that 7.5 just feels a little too high.
Yeah, I agree. I think if it was even if it was 6.5, I might consider it.
I was going to say 6.5. I might play 6.
Yeah,
5 I'd play 6.5.
Sure. But now you're asking me to
7.5. I couldn't play that line.
Yeah.
So the next game,
you have a backdoor possibility. I feel like that's a game that has a backdoor spread.
All right. So this line, at least on DraftKings, it's down. It's down. I placed my bet on FanDuel. I got the Cowboys at minus 9.5 in this game. You have the Cowboys and the Jets. I love the Cowboys. The DraftKings has them at 8.5, and I love the Cowboys at 8.5 here. Now, last week I was wrong about the Jets. I was right and wrong actually about the Jets.
Yeah, I was wrong and right.
I predicted an early downfall for the New York Jets with Aaron Rodgers, and I guess I was right about the downfall for Aaron Rodgers early. That's terrible to see, honestly. I don't even want to joke about that.
Yeah, I feel so bad.
I actually feel bad for him, and I don't like him. Yeah. The Jets won. Yes, the Jets upset the Bills last week. That was their defense just playing a great game in front of their home crowd. Where Josh Allen played sloppy.
I did.
And I like the Bills defense
in terms of how Josh Allen would play on that game.
Yeah. So
I will say I had Jets money line, as you know, and that ended up being a much bigger sweat than it should have been.
Yeah. So this next game, look, Zach Wilson, he didn't lose the game for the Jets last week. He didn't do much. He played all right. He played better than I expected him to play. He is not going to play like that against the Cowboys.
I will say, I root for the Jets as a Giants fan because I don't see it as a rivalry. They're in a different conference. I never really understood why it had to be. New York City is big enough for two teams. But one thing I will say is if the Jets come out here and beat the Cowboys after the Cowboys ruined the Giants, it will be a very bad look. If Zach Wilson and the Jets can go out there and beat the Cowboys, it will be a very bad look for the New York Giants.
The Cowboys defense last week is why and Daniel Jones is way better than Zach Wilson. That is a much, much better offense. See now. Here's the thing: is that the Bills last week came into that game planning for Aaron Rodgers, right? So they were a little thrown off when Zach Wilson came in the game because you were playing a different quarterback, and you do have to adjust a little bit there. Not
But the
much,
defense
not much.
played well. The defense for the Bills played well.
Right, yes.
He gave up one touchdown, and the special teams gave up a touchdown.
Yeah, so I mean, that's like, look, the Jets now, they won that game, yes. But they brought in this offensive coordinator specifically to drop for Aaron Rodgers. He designed, and he brought in receivers specifically for Aaron Rodgers. They designed this entire offense in the offseason with a new offensive coordinator around Aaron Rodgers. And now you have to remake your entire offense to fit Zach Wilson. It is a way different ball game, and I shouldn't even have to why there's a huge difference in drawing up an offense for a 4-time NFL MVP and Zach Wilson.
Do you think the Cowboys, though, are prepared for whatever offense they end up drawing up for Zach Wilson? Because this isn't going to be the same offense that Zach Wilson ran last year.
I think they're prepared for Zach Wilson to do Zach Wilson things. And for the Jets. And listen, the Jets had one of the most Jet things ever happen to them last week, and then still won the game, which is a not Jet thing to do.
It was 9-11, dude.
Yes.
And the Giants had just lost by 40. If a New York team didn't win that weekend, I was going to be upset.
It was 9-11 in front of a home crowd with a great defensive performance.
A great running performance by Breece Hall.
And it's been a great running performance. Breece Hall looked amazing. It ain't happening this week. The Jets are going to look like the Jets. Heard it here first, folks.
All right. We'll move on.
Move on to the Commanders and Broncos, which everyone is very excited about. I got nothing for you. I guess I'll take the Broncos.
Spread's 3.5, right?
Oh, I got 4.
4? Commanders plus 4?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take the Commanders plus 4 because I don't believe in the Broncos to win a game by more than a field goal.
Yeah, me neither. I ain't playing Broncos minus 4.
Yeah.
All right.
Money line, I guess, be contrarian. I'll take the Commanders. Why not? But I'm not actually playing anything in that game.
But I think this line may have gone down over the week. The Patriots and Dolphins tonight. We got Miami's favored by 2.5 now on DraftKings. I feel like that's gone down.
It has.
Through the week.
While I've done a lot of line study on this game, I haven't actually finished my write-up on it. I haven't made an official pick on it. So you can convince me. But right now I'm leaning Patriots simply based on line study because a lot of money, a lot of tickets coming in on the Dolphins at the +3 number. It's very important to know which number the money's coming in on. That's why you have to track it over the week. Just a quick disclaimer. If you just think, I'm going to fade the public and you see the public tickets are all on one side, that doesn't mean everyone's on the same number. Different numbers are sharper than other numbers, and you need to be aware of that. With that being said, when it crosses a boundary like 3, you take notice, especially when a lot of people are on the side of the team that was favored by 3 that's now favored by 2.5. I think Bill Belichick at home in prime time in the divisional game coming off a loss is a good spot. I think Bill Belichick at home in prime time in a divisional game against a young coach is a good spot for him. I think McDaniel, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like the Dolphins have kind of disappointed in the last couple primetime games last season. I could very well be wrong about that. It's just what I feel like I remember.
I agree.
But I think the Patriots end up taking this one in a close game. You know what? I'll call a shot. Nick Folk, 42-yard game-winning field goal as time expires. How about that?
We got the rookie kicker playing, I believe.
All right, rookie kicker, 42-yard game-winning field goal as time expires.
So I will convince you a little more here. So I will say the one thing I don't like for the Patriots this week going into this game is I believe Jonathan Jones is still listed as questionable. Jonathan Jones is a key part of Belichick's game plan against Tyreek Hill. every time. So
I'll wait for that.
Yes. If Jonathan Jones is playing, that's big. But without that, the Patriots offense last week looked pretty good against a very good Eagles defense. And that is with the running game looking poor. That is with, and the running game looked bad. I say that both of your starting guards last week, Cole Strange and Michael Wenning, were missing for the Patriots. Your interior run game takes a big hit when you don't have your two starting interior offensive linemen. Now, Cole Strange is listed as questionable still. Mike Nwenu is good to go, I believe.
Here we go. Yep.
Now, Mac Jones didn't get sacked, only got sacked twice last week against the Eagles. That is, both of those came late. He didn't get sacked until late in the third quarter, I believe it was, or maybe even in the fourth. That is against a very good Eagles pass rush. That was Mac Jones taking care of himself and taking care of the football. I thought Mac Jones did a great job that last week. I think the Patriots offense will look better in week 2, because that is week 1 adjusting to new wide receivers, a new tight end, and a new offensive coordinator. That's an adjustment for – the coordinator is not much of an adjustment for Mac. It is for everyone else. Devontae Parker was also missing, and I believe is playing this week.
Is he? Okay.
Against his old team. If I'm wrong, I could be wrong, but I believe he's playing.
If he's playing, I might take him to score a tutty.
And I will also have to add to this that the reason the Dolphins lost, the reason that the Dolphins won last week, the reason they should have lost that game, but like I said, the Chargers should have won. The reason the Chargers should have won, they were running the Dolphins all over the place. They could run the ball at will against the Dolphins last week.
As I said, they ran for 230 yards against the Dolphins. The Chargers do not do that.
Stevenson and Ezekiel Elliott this week, I love. If those two offensive lines are healthy, if both Stranger and Wendy are playing, which I don't think they're both playing, but even if you just get one of them back, your run game's going to be better. I
honestly, I'm going to play one of those running backs on an anytime touchdown. I just don't know which one yet.
I would. I don't know. That's a tough one actually, because
I think I'll go Ramondre just because he can break a big one, and they were really porous to big plays last week.
Yes, they were. I'm excited for the Patriots offense today.
I think they break one of those.
Very good showing last week.
Just worry about Tyreek Hill for me.
I do. I worry about that. So I think Jonathan Jones
game plan for Tua just fine, but you get that Tyreek Hill the ball in space. It doesn't matter where he got it from. He can go.
Yeah, you can't game plan for Tyreek. I'm sorry, you just can't game plan for speed like that.
Yeah,
it happens.
It happens. Last game changes the game. He had 3 tutties last week.
We actually have 2 games here.
I know.
Go here.
We got a double feature on Monday night.
We got the Saints and the Panthers. I like the Saints here.
I do too.
That's kind of an easy one to me. The Panthers have nothing for me to really think they're good with. So I gotta go.
Prove it to me.
I got nothing.
These 2 games I haven't looked at. I haven't looked at those 2 games in depth yet. But initial thoughts, I'm higher on the Saints than most are. I think they can really work it out if they figure it out with a couple things. And I'm pretty sure the Panthers run a lot of zone defense, which means I might take Rashid Shaheed for another touchdown, the zone burster.
Rashid Shaheed.
I love that name. That's my guy right now. That's my guy right now.
That name is so much fun to yell out. I was yelling for y'all last week. I had fun with it.
Dude.
So I'll actually keep rooting for him just because I like yelling his name out.
It's so fun. And he's great when he gets in space and zone.
He looked pretty good.
So I think he scores again. I think the Saints win that game. And then The second game, I got the Steelers over the Browns at home, prime time. Mike Tomlin not getting embarrassed 2 weeks in a row. Not happening.
Yeah, that's a game that I really was back and forth on all week because you said all those reasons. Those are the reasons that I want to bet on the Steelers, but then I have other reasons that I don't want to bet on the Steelers.
Like everything that happened last week?
For the sake of it, since we're here, let's go Steelers.
There we go.
No, all right. No, I didn't just say, fuck,
yeah,
scratch that.
Oh, clip that. We'll
take the Steelers to win.
Said, let's go Steelers.
Sam. We got to end this show.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for letting me co-host for 1 week. It's been a nice run. I'm about to get kicked off forever.
No, you're still the co-host. So anyway, folks, thanks for tuning in. The first episode with me actually having a co-host. It was good to. Sam comes on like half my episodes anyway, so like.
Yeah, it's official now. Now we can have the official.
Yeah, it was good to just like name you the co-host, and then like now you can just be on the show every week, and it's just easier instead of asking you every week if you want to be on the show.
Plus, instead of doing 2 shows, I get to do 1. So.
Yeah, running 2 of them right into one another. Like I said, so we will be live on both channels, both Blue Collar Media Group and The Source. 11:30 to 12 Eastern Time every Sunday during the NFL season.
Depending on hangovers, yeah.
Yeah, we should probably start posting that on one of the pages.
Yeah,
in the morning.
I posted at noon today. Like they was coming at noon once we figured that out. The Rams are deactivating Cam Akers for some reason. That's interesting.
Ooh, interesting
stuff indeed for you fantasy people. If anyone, for some godforsaken reason, is playing Cam Akers, don't do it. Yeah. Shameless plug. You can find me at Source Podcast 11 on Twitter. And all my plays are linked in a spreadsheet you can find on there in my bio, full transparency. All picks are tracked by SharpRank. And thanks Blue Collar Media Group and to Steve for making me a co-host. I'm very excited for the rest of the season, as I am for every season.
Yes, as am I. Well, that's all we got, folks. Get your bets in and go watch Red Zone Countdown because it's way more fun.
That's what we do. In this house, we watch the countdown.
That 3 minutes is so important to me.
Everyone needs their moments of solace. See you guys.
And now the end stream button. See how long it takes to end the stream.
All right. 3,